This is W2FJH. We'll be starting the STNY digital voice net here in just about 3 minutes. We do have NetLogger up and running for those folks that wish to check in early. You can find NetLogger at netlogger.org. We also will have the Google Meet meeting up and running here in just a minute. You can find the link to join us there at stnydmr.net. So we'll see you folks in just about 3 minutes here. This is W2FGH. This is W2FJH bringing up the STNY digital voicenet on Brandmatch Talk Group 31367, Wires X Room 83721, and live stream to Google Meet and YouTube. The primary purpose of the STNY digital voicenet is to help foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. While this net is primarily for the southern tier, all stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. For more information about this net, please visit stnydmr.net. This net will prioritize short-time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power stations. We currently do have 6 stations checked in through NetLogger. So the net would like to recognize N3OJT Mick, W2KDC Dennis, N2RWH Ed, K3BYC Carlton, N2NRA Cliff, and N2NCB Paul. Alright, when checking in, please give your call sign, your name, and your location. So let's first take a standby for any stations that are short time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power. Please call now. Alright, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any station that would like to check into the STNY digital voice net this evening. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there. So we must have done a really good job at picking everybody up on the first time around there. But we'll give it another go there, just in case anybody was trying to get in there. Any other stations for the STNY Digital Voice Net this evening? Please call now. All right, nothing heard there either. So we will kick things off. If there's any announcements for the net this evening, please call now. All right, nothing heard there. I did have one quick announcement, and I do apologize. Just basically, I apologize for the late cancellation of last week's net. I was trying to find somebody to fill in for net control, but we were all kind of tied up. So I do apologize for that. All right, moving on to questions. If there's any questions for the net this evening, please call now. All right, now that I heard there, so we will move in for comments. The net topic this evening is: have you been net control on another net, or do you have any interest in trying out to be a net control station? All right, so the top of my list here, I have N30JP. Nick, how was your week?
Good evening, Frank. Uh, oh, we're back home here. I thought we were going to stay a little bit up in New York. My wife wanted to come home. So that's what we did on Monday. I had plenty to do around here. Well, using my Chrysler down in the country. Radio quit. AM FM satellite. We were driving and I had it off and it just flashed for no reason at all. Well, I knew that wasn't good. But I'm going to get it from the dealer. Their actual price, believe it or not, is real close to what I'm seeing on eBay. Plus, it comes with a 2-year warranty, and I'm just gonna get it right from the dealer. Easy to install. Actually, I take the radio out and take it apart to get a CD out of there, DVD. But anyway, as far as net control, I've done some DMR nets. We especially there's some other nets that are local in the cold months. I do that on Friday evenings, and we start at 8:30, and that's on VHF from the local repeater. That goes for about an hour, but we usually end up in probably an hour and a half. But I usually run that one. Probably a good 17 to 19 sessions. You need a break here. Picked up those IE radios. Well, the guy that locally was sort of there's two versions, H really is about the bands. Only granted it's on what I have here. Plus my old youth, one of the that I've had it for years. I had a lot of complaints about audio. A lot of it. Big time to a couple little things that won't be the security. You get to figure, well, you know, uh,
Well, thanks there, Mick. And yeah, I hate to bring it to you, or at least I'll check with the next station down the list here. But yeah, I was getting you. You were kind of choppy there up until you were talking about the FM satellite. And I believe in your vehicle, and you were getting in service there. You started talking. I heard DMR nets, and it from there on out, I couldn't really make out anything there. So maybe you were a little too far. I know you were outside sometimes with your hotspot. Maybe you were a little too far out. But hopefully we'll come back to you there if you could give some comments there. But yeah, I at least for me, I wasn't able to make out a lot of that. So all right, next on my list is W2 at KDC. Dennis, how was your week?
Oh, thanks, Frank. I had a pretty good week this week, all things considered. Uh, we were well above the flood area when we had the heavy rain a couple days ago. So all things all things went well this week, as well as can be expected. Uh, as far as being net control, no, I have not been in net control. I'm still getting my feet wet talking on various nets. Would I be interested? Yeah, maybe at some point, but not just yet. Uh, and regarding mix audio, I had the same result you did. I'm sorry it was Mick. But I'm glad it was not something on my end. So that's about my story for this week. As W2KDC Dennis, I'll pass it back to you, Frank.
Very good there, Dennis. And yeah, definitely let me know. I know you were getting into DMR, but whenever you feel comfortable and if you have some free time, as I mentioned, I'm always open for other help with net control. It was kind of a hit. Steven knows there's a hidden agenda too on my list here. If anybody is willing to volunteer for help with net control, sometimes me, Nick, and Ed, we just have things going on. My little girl's birthday party was last week, and actually it got postponed because her birthday. A lot of people were sick, so we postponed it for a week. And Ed, I got a hold of Mick and Ed, and they were both unavailable as well. But yeah, anytime you're comfortable there, Dennis, I'd be more than happy to basically, kind of we scale things down when there's other net controls, so we take it very easy. But anytime you're willing, I'd be more than happy to have you host a net control. So, all right, next on my list is N2RWH. Ed, how was your week?
And to RWH. Good evening to everybody on the net. Um, not too bad. Friday was a little touchy. Rain started. Had to leave work early. had some water in the basement, and uh, got home, and it was definitely uh, getting a little. If I would have let it go, then I would have had more problems. So got it under control. Um, no complaints here, and uh, had to leave to get a repair on the car done. So my wife took care of it, and then got there and stopped raining, and the sun came out, and still drying out a little bit in the basement, but other than that, we're good here. And yes, very busy. Have not been in net control, so I don't know about that yet. So back to you, Frank, and to RWH.
Hey, thanks, Ed, and sorry to hear about the basement there. Yeah, I know that's always a major pain. But all right, yeah, for us it was the wife was trying to get back home. I'm working from home myself, so I was already at home. But yeah, she had some difficulties on Sulphur Springs Road trying to get up the hill here, and she had to take alternative route because the road was flooded over. So that was about the extent for us on Friday. But yeah, anytime. Same thing with you, Ed. Anytime if you ever were interested in doing net control, we're always looking for more people. So, all right. Next on my list is K3BYC Carlton. How was your week?
This is K3BYC, Carlton in Darlington, Maryland, Harford County. Not too bad. Debbie was fairly kind to us in the northeastern section of Maryland. I think one tree down, I had to take a detour Friday, but we got off pretty good shape. And the mid part of the state took a heavier hit. Um, as far as net control, I have served as net control for State Line Radio Club of Maryland, Pennsylvania. Used to do that quite a bit, and I currently serve as that for Harford County Aries. Haven't done any the digital nets as net control, although I participate in a lot of them in Maryland and Pennsylvania. So anyway, everybody, I hope you had a great weekend. And yeah, I had the same problems receiving MIC, although I did hear the Raspberry Pi being mentioned, and I use that myself, Raspberry Pi 3B Plus on Pi Store. So that's all I have for now. Everybody have a great week here. This is K3PYC. Back to net control.
Hey, very good there, Carlton. And thanks as well for all the other people for confirming. Because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell if it was on my end or the other person's end. And we did have that one net a few weeks ago. That my internet went out, and it seemed like a few other people's internet might have went out because we were having a difficult time. So it's um, good confirmation that at least I was getting out through there. So. And by the way, Mick, we will circle back to you. I have two more stations, and then I'll take a pause, and then I'll make sure to get back to you for your comments there. So, all right. Next on my list is N2NRA. Cliff, how was your week?
This is Cliff from Waverly. Not too bad. Got the lawn mowed before the storm Friday, where we had .95 inches on the rain gauge here. And been watching some Olympics. I guess this evening we'll be watching the closing of the Olympics tonight. No, I've never been a net controller, and I'm not sure if I could handle that there. But anyways, Mick does an excellent job as net control if he's ever available. I know back to the net. This is Antoine Ray back to W2SJH.
Hey, very good there, Cliff. And yeah, I was just out there choring myself today because I didn't get the lawn mowed before all the rain came. And it was raining like all this week, you know. So yeah, it was a little jungly out there today. So and yeah, yeah, thank you, Mick, again, for always covering for me there. And Ed has covered for me a few times as well. And yeah, surprisingly, I was kind of nervous when I started to be net control myself, and it's actually just a lot of fun. Like I was nervous at first, but yeah, especially with DMR. You know, call signs pop up, so sometimes if you don't have a careful ear, I mean, you got it on your screen or something. So you can always, you know, make sure you got the right call sign and everything down. It's if you ever want to give it a shot, Cliff, you let me know. So, all right, next on my list is N2NCB. Paul, how was your week?
Hello again, Frank and all into NCB here. We'll take care of the question first, and I'm net control for 3 nets and net control manager, however you want to do that, for 2 of those nets. Um, and as far as starting up, the thing that, like Frank was saying, I was nervous as well. But one of the keys that worked for me is when you're hearing the call signs, when the net starts up, is to write them down on a piece of paper. And for me, there was a big thing that hearing in the brain to write it on a piece of paper, that was the difficult part. So once I got that method down, then it came to be a lot easier. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the other thing that got done today that I wanted to be have done a few weeks ago, and I finally said today is the day. So most of that got done today. All outside work, good temperature. Got up into the 80s, I think, a little bit, but took a few rest breaks to get in and out of the sun, but got it done. And I was going to wait and clean up until after supper. Well, the sprinkles started happening, so we dashed out and got all things packed away here before supper time. And the rest of the former week, we got a lot of rain here and hardly any wind, so we kind of lucked out that way, certainly more so than out west of here. With that, we'll turn it back to you, Frank. Take care, all. Into NCB.
Hey, very good there, Paul, and thanks, and also thanks for I know you do a lot of nets. And yeah, thank you for all of your you know, contributions and everything. Yeah, I know it's a lot there for you. So, and yeah, as you mentioned it, I still do the same. Even though I use NetLogger to try to organize things, I still have a little notebook. It's in right here. Write down everybody's call sign as well, just in case you know, my power goes out or something. I mean, if my power goes out, I guess I can't get on DMR then. But yeah, just as a backup in case you know, the software crashes or anything else, I also do have a pen and paper backup that I can still get on with. So very good there, Paul. All right, I have reached the end of my list. I did pick up a new station, so the network like to recognize KB2SIN Bill coming in through NetLogger. But I'm going to take a quick standby here before I get back to Mick to see if there's any additional stations that would like to check this evening. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there. So let's circle back up and see if Mick is a little closer to the hot spot in a better spot there. So M3OJP, Mick, how was your week there?
Oh, W2FJH. Well, I'm back in here, Frank. I switched over to the open spot. Well, I apologize. The You were choppy too, so I wasn't sure what was going on with the Raspberry Pi, and I'm sure it was annoying listening to me with all that breakup. You can't hear a thing. Well, it was pretty good. Let me just make sure that you heard me okay, Frank. Please come back.
Yeah, that's affirmative there, Mick. You are loud and clear now.
Well, going forward here, I'll just use the open spot here. Dennis turned me on to a good thing here, so I'm going to use it. Yeah, we were going to stay in New York because my grandson was going to be with his father all week, but my wife wanted to come home. It's okay, we got plenty to do around here. The radio in my caravan, my Town and Country Chrysler, it flashed. It wasn't even on, and then the screen was doing some strange things. So the radio's no good. I did check eBay, but believe it or not, the price from the dealer was just slightly higher. Plus, it comes with a pretty good warranty, and they do all the programming. So I'm just going to get it from the dealer this week. As far as being net control, do a couple of them. Well, I've done this net here, the Southern Tier net, and it's pretty easy. What I like about DMR is you can hear the audio. It's very clear, especially when you got a good open spot compared to the Pi Star. So I better qualify that. Sometimes on HF, you get some noise and everything else. But and like you and Paul mentioned, I always write the call signs down because you don't have to look at your paper. You can just write them down. Whereas with the computer and using NetLogger, you have to look. Although I do punch them in there. On Friday nights in the wintertime, I do FL Digi training here for the one club. And we run that on Friday nights for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And that's not too bad. I have voice check-ins because we use the VHF repeater locally here. And also we use FL Digi to check in. So that helps too. Plus you can also log the calls. But again, I still write them down on paper. But and I always believe this because, it's a hobby. We're volunteers as nets. You can't make mistakes. So everybody kind of gets worried about making a mistake or not hearing something. To me, it doesn't matter. Somebody volunteers to be net control. I don't hear any mistakes at all. So that's how I look at it. But I did pick up the new TID radio. You get a break here. A lot of the guys locally have been talking about it. Plus the one that comes in the clear case. It's different. It's kind of unique. I've got an old Bofang UV5 or the 5A, and the audio. People just can't hear me, so I'm going to toss that. I've got a couple other Bofangs. I've got the one that does 220. But I picked up this TID radio. In fact, it just arrived yesterday. I'm charging it up and reading the manual. But I picked up the H8 version because it's 10 watts on the maximum setting, the high setting. They have the H3 versions. It covers, you can receive on 7 different bands, but only transmit on 2 meters and 440. So not too much difference there. Plus the other bands, they didn't excite me too much. Plus, depending on the antenna you're using, it might not work at all. So I'm just experimenting with this new radio. Easier to program. You get Bluetooth. So I'm kind of excited about that. But again, I'll get back to you, Frank, and I'm on the open spot. I'm glad I switched over here. And sorry for all that confusion earlier on and taking up time here. Back to you, Frank. W2FJH and 30JP.
Hey, no problem at all there, Mick. And yeah, I want to say a thank you as well for all the times you covered for me with for this net. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on you can't make mistakes. like I mean, between me, Mick, and Ed, life happens. We can't always be on the net and everything. And we just appreciate people help, and more people helping out. But yeah, exactly. We're amateur radio operators. We're not pros. like, this is a hobby, and hey, it's something to grow and experiment and have more experience with. But yeah, you can clearly make mistakes. So yeah, very good there, Mick. And yeah, let me know if you like to try to chat either after the net or some other time, and we'll see. From my end, I was seeing there was a 20% loss in internet. So I'm wondering if it was the hotspot was fine. It just wasn't making a solid connection, either through Wi-Fi or through if you had to connect it with Ethernet. Hopefully, it wasn't connected with Ethernet because that might be a bigger problem. Somehow we're losing that much traffic. So, but definitely let me know if you wanted me to, take a look at that or any questions you might have on why that Pi Star might not be getting out there all that well. So, all right, moving on to my next station there. KV2 SIN. Bill, how was your week?
Good evening, Frank, and everybody else on the net. Very eventful. And the storms and getting these all these fire departments reprogram firmware and code plugs. It's keeping me busy, and I'm retired. Yeah, right. Anyways, I'm not sure what the question was, but I'm gathering it's something to do with nets. And I do run one net, and that's the Racy's net, and that's only the first Thursday of every month. And I've been helping out with that, and it's basically just do the same thing. I a regular check sheet of Racy members, and I just go down and read the call off the regular way. If they don't answer, I read their call sign again phonetically, and if they answer, I check it off. If they don't, it goes unchecked for that week, or that month, I should say. But other than that, I haven't really done any other nets. I'd like to eventually get into it, but a lot of people don't do that because they're shy of the radio and they're shy of screwing up. They think they're going to screw up, and I've heard some people do the nuts, and I've heard them chastised right on the air, and it kind of scares people away. But other than that, not much going on. Hopefully, we got a little rain here tonight. Good, nice, heavy downpour, and now it's clear out. So, other than that, I have nothing else going on. I'll turn this back to you, Frank. KB2SIM.
Hey, very good there, Bill, and thanks. And yeah, I was gonna mention like, hey, you're doing all these code plugs and everything. I'm hoping you're having fun while you're doing it, because yeah, you are retired. You should be having fun at least. so, very good there. And yeah, the net topic this evening. Sorry, I didn't reiterate it there. Was have you been net control station before? Or do you have any interest in trying out Net Control Station? I kind of had a secret agenda with this as well, because anybody on the net this evening, if you were interested in being Net Control, again, I do apologize for canceling last week so late there. But it was my little girl's birthday. Her birthday party was the week before. Thanks for covering. But a few people were sick, and we actually had to postpone her birthday party to the next Sunday. And I was not available to make it to the net. I was trying, but was not available. So yeah, anytime, Bill, if you were interested and would like to do net control for this net, definitely let me know. So. All right, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital Voice Net. I have reached the end of my list. So let's take a quick standby to see if there's any additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any additional stations or any stations that have checked in with additional comments, questions, or concerns. Please call now. All right, hearing nothing then, we might as well wrap things up here. I'd like to thank Mick, Dennis, Ed, Carlton, Cliff, Paul, and Bill for joining me this evening. We'll be returning this talk group back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week there. This is W2FJH, and I'll be listening.